Hi guys, I'm Aaron Runk and I'm pretty excited today because we'll be doing a setup on our Haas ST20Y. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this raw piece of material we got right here and we're going to be transforming it into this part in one operation. That's right, we're going to be doing a transfer using a dual spindle machine. So the tools I'll be using to make this part, I've got some Sandvik CNMG 432s and I've got a Sandvik DNMG 431 for doing my turning and my facing. I've also got an Iscar tang grip grooving tool, and that really helps get me that extra reach that I need for those deeper grooves. And I'm also going to be making my hole with a Mitsubishi 1-inch insert drill. And then I'll be topping it all off with another Kennametal 3/4 boring bar, CCMT, and I'm going to have a 1 on that tool nose radius. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it and let's get this setup going. So if you'll notice, I have all my tools already loaded onto my turret, and I also have my jaws that I have made for this job already mounted onto my chuck, and I have the sub spindle as well. It is very important that when you make your jaws for your machines that you stamp them 1, 2, or 3 and load them in the same location when you put them back on the same machine. That will really help out with your run out. However, when you do put your material into your jaws, you will notice that it will look like it has a little bit of run out. That is because the material is not perfectly round. We have not cut it yet, so it's not a machine surface. So this is about the amount of wobble that you will see on the part when it is in the chuck jaws before you start. So the first thing I want to do after I've homed out my machine is I want to load the program I'm going to be using into the memory. So I have my program on my USB and I will be going into list program, and then from here you'll see that I have my tabs at the top. So on memory I don't have my program in there, so if I go to USB I'm going to be loading this program right here at the bottom. So I will hit enter to select the program I want to be using, then I will hit F2. Okay, now there is a way to hit load selected program, but it will load it with the USB being the current selected command. So it's going to try and run the program out of the USB. So I'm going to go into memory and then I'm going to hit enter one more time, and then it might say there's already something in there. I do want to override it. I like that right there, so that looks really good. So I can see down here, if I go into edit, that I have all these tools right here. I have my CNMG, I have my grooving tool, I have my insert drill, I have my boring bar, I have just a regular jobber drill, and then I also have for the back side of the turret when I do my op 2, I have a DNMG and I have another boring bar. So if you'll notice here, we have our G10s. So what our G10s do is, if I have a very labor intensive setup to where it's taking a lot of time and I have to break down that setup and come back to it again later, by having these G10s and using the same tools and using those same jaws, that actually reduces the setup time substantially, because I already know all of these work offsets are very close to what we need to do. So what I got to do now is I got to touch off all these tools off my tool eye. So let's get started on that. Okay, so I've already identified my tools I'm going to be using. So I want to first call up the first tool I'm going to be setting. So I want to set tool number 1. So I'm going to go into MDI, and I can do it 2 ways. I can hit T101 into block insert cycle start, or I can simply go to T1, which will go to turret 1 position, and I can hit turret forward. So my machine came on. If I already have turret 1 in location, it will not rotate. So if I wanted to know what tool was in that position, I can come up here and I can see that tool 1 is active in the carousel. Also, if I come to my offsets, you can also see the active tool is tool 1. That is in the spindle location. So I need to be in edit to start setting the tools. So let's come up here to our probing system. I'm going to come down. I'm going to go over for probing. I want to set tool offsets, and I want to do turning tools because this is a turning tool. Okay, I'm going to start off with a manual because I don't have anything set, so automatic is not, it's kind of shooting in the dark is what it's going to be doing. So I want to go to manual, and you'll see that the first thing it wants me to do is hit F2. So if you look right here, when I hit F2, it will bring up another page, and it says that the status is that it is retracted. So I want to bring it down, so I'm going to hit F2 again. And now my tool eye is in a good location. So now that I have my tool eye down, I'm simply going to hit undo because I don't need to be in this screen anymore. So when I come out of this screen, I'm literally just going to go down, and it's going to explain to me what's going on. So because tool 1 is the active tool, it auto defaults to 1. Now offset, because I am using this offset T101, which is in my program, I'm going to set my offsets to 1. I also have a turret location 1, but I'll be using offset 24, and if I was doing that, I would simply type in 24, and I'll show you that as well. So let's change this back to a 1. Tooltip direction, very cool. It gives you an idea of what direction I am in for my tooltip direction. So I am doing outside facing, so I will be doing tooltip direction 3, and I'll hit enter. So once this is all done, you'll notice that it popped up some information right here below. If I cursor down, this controller will actually tell me what direction and what side of the tool eye I want to be on. So if you look down here, you're going to press hand jog and then the axis, and then you're going to jog the tool close to this location, which is 250 thousandths or 6 millimeters of the probe. So let's go into hand jog, and let's open our door. So if I look right here, we're going to go ahead and handle down to our tool. Now I'm going pretty fast. Make sure you all take your time. That right there looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit cycle start after I close my door. Before we hit cycle start, I want to make sure I am in edit, and it says to run an MDI. So now I'll hit cycle start, and we'll watch it set its offsets. And just like that, I have set the tool length in the Z and X axis for this tool. Didn't take very long at all. So what I want to do now is I'm going to handle away from my tool probe, and once I get a little bit far away from it, I want to go ahead and put it up. So I'll close my door. Again, I'll go back into edit, and then I'm going to hit F2. It's extended. Make sure you are not going to hit my probe, and then you're going to retract it. So now it is retracted. So from here, I will hit undo to exit. I'm going to hit power up restart, and I'm going to hit the letter A. I'm going to be hitting that quite a bit because what that does is that puts me in a safe location, so I know I can index the turret without the fear of hitting anything. So the next tool I want to do is tool 3. So MDI, let's hit erase program. I'm going to hit T3, turret forward. And now I will go back to edit. If you'll notice, it kept me right here, and I'm just going to follow the same process. I'm going to hit F2 twice. Once to activate my screen, 2 to bring it down, and then I'm going to hit undo. And if I cursor down, you'll notice that it already went to the active tool, current tool number. And then when I go down, it wants to put it in offset 1, but I don't want it in offset 1. I want to put it in offset 3. So I change it there. Tooltip direction will remain the same because it is my grooving tool, so I will be on the outside. So I'll leave it as a 3, and it's going to give me the same instructions. So let's go ahead and go to jog. I'll open up my door, and then we will handle towards that same location. Again, take your time on this. It's not a race. We want to make sure all tools that we set are correct. And then I will close my door. I will hit edit, and then I'll hit cycle start. And notice that it's taking 2 hits on here. That's to ensure the initial hit, and then the second hit is for accuracy. So again, I'll go into jog. I will handle away in the positive axis. I will close my door. I'll hit edit, F2. I want to put my tool eye back. And then I will hit undo, power up, A. So again, I'm just going to repeat this process until all my tools are touched. So I will show you how to do our insert drill, our boring bar, and our drill. So let's keep on going. So let's go to MDI, erase program. I'm going to hit T8, turret forward. And then we'll go to edit, F2. I'll hit undo. Now this one will be a little bit different. I'm going to set my 8 to my offsets, but my tooltip direction is just going to be 7. So I want to make sure when I bring my tool down that it is right in front of the tool eye, because if I cursor down one more time, you'll notice that it wants me to be again 250 thousandths in front of the tool eye. So let's go hand jog Z. All right, so let's open up our door and let's set our drill. So I'm going to hand jog, I'm in the Z axis. I'm going to come over and then I'm going to come down. And I want to make sure my insert is what's touching the tool eye when it gets to it. Now I'm going to close my door. I'm going to go into edit and I'm going to hit cycle start. Now something to remember on this is it only set the Z axis. So what does that mean? That means I haven't set my X axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into offsets. This is tool 8. It is in the spindle, or the turret is active. So if I activate or highlight the X geometry, you'll notice I have some additional codes down here. Well, this is a bolt-on tool, so it's going to set the center line if I push F3. Now that is a setting in the machine that knows where the center line is with the bolt-on tool. So very cool, very quick. All of my drills will be set just like that. So again, let's handle away from my tool eye. Then we'll close our door. I'm going to go back to edit. I'm going to hit F2 and put my tool eye up. I'll hit undo. I want to power up and home and hit A. So we're going to keep on going. Next thing I have is our boring bar. So it's going to be tool number 6. So let's go MDI, erase program, T6, turret forward. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to edit. I'm going to come up to the top. We'll hit F2. Let's get that retracted. Now it's extended. So I'll hit undo. Tool 6 is active. Let's change that to 6. And I'm going to come down here. Now notice I got another tooltip direction change. It's going to be the 2 because we are doing ID boring. So I'm going to change that to 2. And now when I come down to my cursor, notice it tells me I want to be in that area right there. All right, so let's go to hand jog. Let's open up our door. Let's go on our Z axis. And let's handle it to that location. So again, I want to make sure I'm not hitting anything on the back side of my spindle whenever I get here. Now that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and close my door. Hit edit, and then I'm going to hit cycle start. Very good. So now that I've set that tool right there, I'm almost done. So I'm going to go into handle, make sure I move the right direction, close my door. You don't want to go too far because you have a boring bar on the other side. I'm going to hit power up and the letter A. I'll come back to edit, hit F2. Let's retract our tool eye. And I'm retracting my tool eye every time I index my turret. Before I index my turret, it is a good habit. So exit. I'm ready to set my next tool, which is going to be, again, a drill, so I'm only going to set that one direction right there. So let's go to MDI, erase program, T11, and then we'll hit turret forward. Next thing I want to do, so I'm going to go back to edit, hit F2 so that we can extend our tool eye. Then I'll hit undo. I know this is a bit repetitive, but it's very good that you get this into a rhythm and slash routine. So tool 11's there, tool 11 for my work offsets, 7 for that right there. And then I just need to position it right where I want to go. So now let's open our door and go on the hand jog, and let's put this 250 thousandths in front of my tool eye. All right, very good. So let's close our door. We'll go into edit, and I'll simply hit cycle start. Okay. Before I do anything else, because this is a drill and it's on center, I want to come right here and I want to hit set to BOT centerline, bolt-on tool. F3, you'll notice they are both the same. Makes it very easy. All right, so let's go into handle. Let's move away from my tool eye, go the right direction, close our door, go to edit, and hit F2 twice. Let's put that tool eye up. Then I'll hit undo. So if you'll notice, let's go back to edit, memory. I have set all the tools for the front side of my part. Now I have to set some tools on the back side of my tool eye. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky because I can't physically touch the boring bar to the tool eye. So we're going to set that a little bit differently. But for the X, I'll teach you a quick trick on what has worked for me. But before I teach you that, let's go ahead and set the DNMG 431. But first, I got to make sure that I send it home. So I want to go to power up, hit the letter A. So I want to go to MDI. I'll erase my program. And remember, it is still turret 1 location, but it's going to be offset 21. So I'll hit turret forward. Now that I'm at that location, I'll go back to my edit. I'll hit F2, hit it twice to retract. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit undo, and we'll get this ready. So notice it says 11. This is where I'm going to set 21. Now this depends on whatever you have it called as in your program. So in my program it says T1 21, all on the same line. So now I'm going to come down here. Tooltip direction is going to be a 4 because we are going to be cutting on the sub spindle outside. So I'm going to hit a 4 input, and then when I arrow down, it will tell me which side it needs to be on. So let's go ahead and open up our door, go into hand jog, and let's go ahead and position ourselves in the right location. Now this is why we don't have a material in the jaws, so that we don't run into it. Now that I am pretty close to where I want to be at, I will come back to edit, I'll close my door, and I will simply hit cycle start. Very good. So now I have set all of my tools with the tool eye. So the first thing I want to do is I want to carefully handle up and X, and I want to handle carefully away from the tool eye, and then I will put the tool eye up, knowing that when it goes up it will not hit anything. So I'll go back to edit, hit F2, and I will retract the tool eye. So now I will hit undo, power up, hit the letter A, so it puts my machine back to a safe position. Now here's my trick I was telling you about. I go to my offsets, tool number 6 and tool 624 are both on the same tool holder. Therefore, I'm going to make my X the same for both of these because they are the same size boring bars. So I'll simply type in minus 15 inches, 959 thousandths of 4 tenths, and I will find position 24, and I will hit enter. I will hit yes because I do want to put that in there. I'm ready to go. So here's two ways I can set the Z. I can run this whole part, and whenever it gets done running, before it runs this tool in the program, I can bring my tool to the face of the part and touch off, and I can hit Z face measure. However, I want to do this right now because I have a finished part with me. So here's what I got to remember. My G10's right here. I'll be using G56 whenever I get down there to use that one boring bar. Okay? If you'll notice, B minus 3 inches. That means my B, or my sub spindle, is going to come away from its home location by 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first call up the tool that I want to set. MDI, erase program, T6, index turret. Okay, so now pay attention. I'm going to go GO, G56, B minus 3 inches in the block insert. Now what that's going to do is it's going to move my machine into the machining location, that sub spindle. It'll put it in the location where the machining will be done. The reason why I'm doing that is because Z0 is the face of my part. So if I don't have my tool eye, this is how I would have to touch off all my tools on both spindles. So I'm going to hit cycle start. You'll see that it did move up 3 inches. Now that it is in the location where it's going to be machined, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to set my tool length. So it's going to handle. Let's open up our door. And we're going to move it into location. Now remember, I'm taking my time. I'm not going too fast. And then when I'm close, I reduce those increments. So as you can see, I'm coming pretty close. So I want to grab my piece of paper and I want to start coming in here in very slow increments until my paper stops moving. Once my paper does stop moving, I'm going to come back to my offsets page and I'm going to come to my cursor right here and I'm going to put it on the Z geometry, and again I will push Z face measure. So that's going to be a -6 inches, 938 thousandths. So that's how far the tool is from the home position to the face of that part. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to go into handle, make sure I come off the face of the part, then I'm going to close my door, and then I will go to power up, letter A, and that's going to send all my accesses home safely. So here's the good news. I've got all my tool lengths set. All my work offsets are going to be set with my G10, and I have all the jaws that I used from the last time I ran this job already mounted and ready to go. That means by just saving those jaws and identifying them with the machine they go on and reloading them in the correct location, I have saved a ton of time setting up this job. So my graphics looked good, I'm ready to run. And if you click on the link in the description below, you can actually see this part run from cycle start to finish, including the part transfer. So again, I'm Aaron Runk, and I really hope you enjoyed this setup video as much as I did. And I hope it helps you in your setups, helps you with some cool tricks, and get you going forward. Good luck out there. Thank you.